days. Our next guest, as we said, has been going through the circuit this past offseason. I know a lot of people want to hear from him and about the potential for 2015. Please welcome the Executive Vice President and General Manager of the Phillies, Reuben Amaro.
I just want to echo some of the things that Steve said. It's very gratifying. It's pretty special. I got a chance to play in the minor leagues as a young player, and young men, particularly Darin and David, they know exactly what it is to have the kind of support that they get from the communities that they have here, particularly here in Lehigh Valley. This is arguably, with all due respect to Reading and the Lakewood franchises, this may very well be the greatest minor league franchise in all of baseball, and that is something very, very special. Particularly in the time when we are rebuilding, I mean, it's very, very important for us to be able to create an atmosphere where our players are feeling like they're playing as close to the big leagues as possible. I know that this has become a tremendous baseball town and a great sports town, not that far from Philadelphia, and so for our players to be able to play in this type of atmosphere, in this type of venue that the people from Coca-Cola, Joe Finley, and others have developed, it's very, very special. We're very fortunate, and we hope to be here for a very, very long time as part of it with the Philadelphia Phillies. So we thank you for your support. We thank you for the things that you do for our players and our staff members, and we certainly do appreciate again the support that you give us.
All right, Reuben, we'll have some questions for you in just a little bit. If you want to take your seat, we'll get back to you in just a second. Reuben Amaro Jr., everybody. We're going to hold off and bring the all-time winningest manager in Iron Pig's history up at the end, but we're going to start with some of the players who are up here today. They've done a tremendous job going through the circuit over the last couple of weeks and even the last couple of years. So let's start things off with right-hander David Buchanan. David, come on up. David, you can use the microphone right there. My first question is, what is this off-season, aside from your trip to Mexico, been like for you preparing for 2015?
It's been great. Just a lot of working out, trying to get ready physically. I spend a lot of time going over film as well, just to kind of get better minimum. Studying different games, different scenarios that I encountered throughout the 14 season in the big leagues. Just trying to learn from mistakes that I made to nip those in the bud, not make them again. So just trying to learn from things I did and get better heading into spring training.
What is this offseason compared to last offseason? Because you weren't a big league pitcher last offseason, but now you have a chance to be a big league pitcher from the beginning of the year. What's that been like preparing for that?
It's humbling, but that's something that obviously I don't take for granted. I know going into this offseason, I wasn't comfortable. If anything, I was more hungry than ever. Wanted to go into spring training and earn a spot. Last year, I wanted to make my debut any way I could, obviously. I wanted to be a big league pitcher, but I never wanted to be at somebody else's expense. Obviously, a great pitcher like Cliff Lee. But my goal this offseason was to get myself prepared physically and mentally to go into spring training and earn a spot. Not because somebody got hurt, but just because I proved myself enough to where they moved me in the rotation.
I mentioned that you spent some time in Mexico. You were part of the Fancation, the Philly Fancation in Mexico, which was a great event, as it always is. And David was there, Justin DeFreitas was there. Who is the better singer? Is it you or Justin? Did we find that out as far as singing?
I don't even think that's a question. I mean, come on.
It wasn't rhetorical. It wasn't rhetorical. So it is you. I assumed it was. You have a little more of the southern twang to your singing. So
I try.
Yeah. David Buchanan, everybody. Our next guest is, as we all know, a very popular player here in Lehigh Valley. Please welcome Darin. All right, Darin, so last year you were playing winter ball in the off-season. How is it different this off-season, getting ready for the season?
I spent a lot of time, after last year dealing with a few injuries, things like that, doing some more injury prevention type activities, focusing on mobility, things like that, to where stay on the field, stay healthy, and perform at a high level.
Last night, you were part of Comcast Shining Star event. That must have been a humbling experience. There's a young lady who we met this past baseball season. She sort of is attached to you as you are her favorite player. What was that like, and what is it like to be part of, let's say, a community like this, a community in Philadelphia, a community in Reading when you're a player in the organization?
Sure, yeah, no, speaking to last night, it was an amazing evening. Got to do the CSN Shining Stars for the marching times. There were 5, beautiful children there that have, dealt with a lot throughout their young life so far. So just to be in attendance for that was such an honor. Speaking to being able to play in communities of Lehigh and Reading, and it's very special to get to make some of the relationships we do with the fans. It's a little bit harder in Philly because they're it's a little bit bigger and things like that. Here it's a little more personal, and it's an awesome experience as a player.
I know that for you have to prepare for being an outfielder, being a first baseman. How much does that change your preparation in the offseason? You're preparing to do 3 things: hit, play 2 different positions as far as the outfield and first base goes.
So I like to take my off seasons and not necessarily focus on what position I might play that year. I just like to try to get more athletic, stronger, things up and make me a better baseball player overall, no matter if it's at first base or outfield or whatever.
That's amazing. That's what I try to do too. Become more athletic, stronger.
Yeah, and my body doesn't change at all. I just try to do those things. So.
Darin up, everybody. We'll have questions again from Darin and the other players in just a little bit. Our next player, we talk about doing a great job these last few days at these different events. We were at a luncheon together. He's really grown into the role of being in front of the microphone. In fact, a few years, I didn't mean anything by that. I just meant Darin's taller. No, I just meant, all right, I should have had Ben first, and then, it's my fault. It's my fault. I apologize. Ben Revere, everybody. All right, so Ben, you've gotten taller since last year.
6'3", baby.
All right, so besides preparing for baseball, I know you're a new homeowner. Have you been able to, over the last 4 hours since we saw each other, gotten rid of the raccoon that's in your basement or in your attic?
Well, after the season, I had ankle surgery, get the 2 screws out of my ankle. So I went home, settled in, moved everything in. I started first having ghosts, the Paranormal Activities movies. I started having those, like creeping noises. I was in a boot, so I had nowhere to run. So I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. So I had no idea what to do. Then now everything, all that settled. Then I got a little raccoon something in my attic scratching. So I have I'm not going upstairs to get attacked. I'm going to be on ESPN or something. What's the show?
TMZ?
TMZ or something, yeah.
Or Animal Planet. I mean, you could have any number of
Animal
them.
Planet, you can name them all. So, yeah.
You're healthy. I know you played most of last year with the sore wheel. You are healthy. How do you feel going into the season?
No, really fantastic. Kind of playing on one leg last year was definitely frustrating in so many ways. But now I go in the off season and do my normal workouts, get my leg strength back. So I feel 100% ready to go. So I'm ready for spring training and the season start.
Do you have individual, I know you all have collective goals, but do you have individual goals that you're setting for yourself for 2015?
Yeah, hit like 50 home runs.
Yeah.
120 but no, definitely. I came close last year winning the batting title. That's definitely my main goal right now. And getting close to still a big bag, so I'm trying to get over that hump. Came close 3 times and haven't got there yet, but I'm gonna break that hump hopefully this year and be able to be on top of the leaders in so many categories.
You know, it's interesting. You mentioned almost winning the batting title. I would think that that is sort of a carrot that dangles out there when you're that close. You're thinking, all right, it's 162 games, but I'm going to try to do it again and see if I can get it this time.
Oh, definitely. You know, it's just I have a hot streak, then a cold streak, then back to a hot streak. So I was kind of going up and down, like a roller coaster ride. But you know, I say the ankle kind of, you know, had some discomfort in my swing, and you know, it was hurting and kind of messed up my rhythm and my bats. But now I got two legs now and healthy, and I feel like now I'm able to finally, you know, compete against those big guys, and hopefully, you know, hopefully I can bring the trophy home.
Two legs, a better
World Series trophy.
Yeah, World Series trophy. Better Revere, everybody. Thanks, buddy. All right, now, to sort of wrap all of that up, please welcome the all-time winningest manager in Iron Pigs history, Ryan Stanley.
Thank you. It's always nice to come back, especially this time of the year, and to see all the baseball fans ready with spring training right around the corner. You know, we're going into spring training camp a lot different than last year. We're going to really look at a lot of players. We're going to evaluate our younger talent and really see who's ready to step up and possibly be one of the core players of the Phillies for the future. So I'm excited about that. I know that my staff is excited about that. And, you know, it's needed. After last year's season, I feel like it's needed for us to go with younger players, have athletic players to create energy and exciting baseball for the Phillies fans. So I know that it's a process that we have to go through, and it's going to be a lot of fun doing that. So I think some of the biggest things from last year, we need to work hard. That's for sure. And with young players, that's going to be the key. With the team that we're going to have, we're going to need to do the little things better than the other team, better than our opponent. We need to be better base runners, be the best base running team. We need to play defense. Looks like we're going to have the making of a veteran type of a starting rotation. That'll be quality. And of course, our bullpen was one of the best in the National League last year with those guys returning. So, you know what? All in all, you never know in baseball, and I'm looking forward to going north out of spring training with the 25 best guys that fit that mold that we're doing, and respond to what we're going to do in spring training camp, and get everybody on the same page. And like I said, in this game, you just never know. So I'm looking forward to that challenge.
Rhino, before we let you sit down, we'll get to some more questions. What is this like as a manager preparing for a baseball season compared to being a player? I mean, obviously you don't have to work out as much, although you work out as much, but what is it like to prepare as a manager for a baseball season?
Well, you know what, I think it's first of all, just being ready to organize a spring training camp. I have a wonderful and a very talented coaching staff, which obviously helped with that, and that goes a long way with organizing a structured camp. Really figuring out what we need to do each and every day, getting through those drills, and then also watching games and making adjustments. You know, I really even at the big league level, the coaching and the drills and the looking for improvement from the players never stops all the way through the season. So other than that, it'll be I'll have the task of getting a lot of action for the young players, really seeing everybody, giving them a chance, and sometimes that goes a long way. You look at David Buchanan last year, came to spring training camp, really opened up my eyes and the organization's eyes on a guy, you know, that's going to be there in a need. So that'll be a big part of looking at the young players, because to get through a baseball season, major league season, you need 30, you need 35 guys. So giving everybody the ample playing time and getting them, especially young players, getting their feet wet at the major league level will be very important.
You know, when you left the Cubs, you were iconic. Jimmy Rollins has left the Phillies. What is that like to see him go to a different team or end his time with, let's say, the Phillies? What is that going to be like for you as a manager?
Yeah, you know what? That's mixed emotions. You know, Jimmy, one of the all-time greats for the Phillies, brought a lot to the Philadelphia Phillies as a young player, and him and his wife were outstanding off the field. But you know what? He really rose his game last year. He did everything was asked. He really took his shortstop defensive play up to a different level than the year before. His arm got better, and he was running well because he took pride in last year and really bought into to doing some things differently at his age. So really just wish him all the best with the Dodgers. And of course, with that being said, somebody will have a chance, and right now that guy would be Freddie Galvis, a chance to step in and be a guy going forward. And also, you never know, between now and spring training or now and opening day, you never know what might come Reuben's way as far as another guy at shortstop. So, you know, a lot of competition and a lot of jobs to be fought for and a lot of players to look at in the spring.
Ryan Sandberg, everybody. All right, we have been given a handful of questions. Now, here's the thing, guys. I didn't write the questions. Matt just gave them to me, so if anything is a little off kilter, Matt gave them to me. So, Reuben, the first question comes from Frank. Frank wants to know, will the team trade Cole Hamels?
He's gone. We just traded him.
Okay.
The chances, I think, are fairly slim. Obviously, we were going into a rebuilding mode this year, and thinking more about along the lines of 16, 17, and 18 than we are 15, although this is an important year for us. This is a fact-finding year in a lot of ways because, as Rhino said, we're going to give some kids some opportunities. There's some people up here at this podium that are going to get opportunities to show whether they're going to be part of the core of what we want to have moving forward. Guys like Ashley and Brownie and Kenny Giles, and who's here for a brief stint, Diekman and others. There are some young players that we feel that we can build around them, and we're going to find out whether or not, in fact, those build around. That said, I think it's important for us to also keep our eyes and our ears open as far as what players can help us bring the amount of talent that's necessary to move the organization forward. Mr. Cole Hamels is one of those guys that can do two things for us. One, he can stay at the top of our rotation for the next 4 or 5 years and be a very, very important part of what we want to do, which is win come the next several years. At the same time, if there is an opportunity to, in some ways, really impact our club in other areas, that's something at least we need to take a look at. So far, there has not been a team that stepped up to our liking, but we certainly have to keep our eyes and ears open. I would think that if we were going to handicap it, he'll probably be pitching for us versus the Boston Red Sox on opening day, but again, you never know what can happen in 2 or 3 phone calls.
Thank you, Reuben. Rhino, this one is for you. This is from Juan. Juan wants to know if you can send some tickets to table 33. I don't know if he wants tickets to a show or for a Phillies game, but he wants tickets.
That's a yes.
Okay, Juan.
Tickets to anything.
Anything you want. Do you have any baseball superstitions?
Baseball superstitions. You know what? As a player and even a manager, I think I'm more of a routine type of a guy than superstitions. I'll tend to do things the same way, just to be comfortable. But one thing I do is for my pregame lunches before the ballpark, I typically have my head down when I'm walking around the streets, and anytime I find a coin of any particular, I don't even care if it's in the middle of the intersection, I'll stop and pick up that coin, put it in my pocket, and that night I'll have it in my uniform pocket in the back. Now, of course, a nickel means more than a penny, so a nickel could be 5 runs, so I make up, play with my so a penny's a win. I mean, so nickel now, full handles, a nickel could be 5 runs, I'll take that. Now I get a quarter working. Now I can stretch that out whole week. I do that quite often.
Reuben, you gotta pay him.
Not bashful about picking up a penny.
All right, this question is for Ben. Ben, this is from Jeanette. Jeanette wants to know, what is your funniest baseball memory? Your funniest baseball memory?
I'll probably say, coach pitch. I hit a double, my pants fell down. And base plan. In front of the second base, my pants down. And that's probably the embarrassing one. Or I'll say, also with the Twins, I was trying to go around second and I stumbled, somersaulted, and made it to third base. I say that's probably definitely the most embarrassing baseball moment.
I don't know.
Since they had on TV, since everybody saw it.
I was going to say, I don't know if the first one was televised, if Coach Pitch was televised, but I know that the Twins one was televised.
By my mom with the camera. So I found it, I threw it away like 5 years ago, so it's clear.
All right, our next question is for Darin. Darin, Howard wants to know, what do you think about the left field fence being moved in 13 feet at Coca-Cola Park?
Yeah, so we were, I was talking to Diesel about this earlier, and I thought it was a great idea, and then David over here chimed in the conversation and proceeded to tell us why it's the worst idea ever. But, you know, it depends on, I'm glad this question was for me, because I think it's a great idea. If you pose the same question to a pitcher, they'd probably think it was the worst idea ever. But, yeah, you know, they should bring fences in anywhere, make it more.
I was going to say, it shouldn't only be secluded to Coca-Cola Park.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next question for David is not about the fences. It is, what was it like to pitch in the major leagues for the first time last year?
It was definitely a dream come true. That's something that I'm sure if there's any young guys out here who saw you during pictures, that's something you dreamed about since you were a kid. Everybody at this table had the same opinion when they made their debut. But my family was there. They all traveled up. I had friends. I had my high school coaches. To be there in a professional ballpark in front of the greatest fans in sports, and it was a very humbling experience. That's something I worked for since I was a kid, and to be able to do it at home in Citizens Bank, I can't really explain how blessed I felt to be there and have my family share that moment with me. It was a dream come true.
One of the funny moments last year on TV, we had a chance to talk to David's dad, and we asked him about whether he could hit or not, and David was about to go up to the plate, and he goes, well, we're fixing to find out if he can hit.
Terrible answer. Terrible.
All right, our next question is going to be over at this end of the table. It's for the architect. Scott, how difficult is it to make trades with salary clauses, incentive bonuses, etc.?
You definitely need to refer this one to Reuben, but we have found that...
We wanted to get you involved.
Well, I appreciate that. But, he's the one that's doing the heavy lifting in that area, but we've probably come to the point where we are not going to be including any no trade or assignment bonuses or anything. The one thing that did happen this year with Jimmy and Chase, they both were with the club for an extended period of time and obtained 10 and 5 rights. And those rights, they're automatically no trade. And so it was part of the process in trading Jimmy was talking to him and getting him involved in the discussion about what was best for him and what was best for the Phillies. And to his credit, Jimmy was extremely cooperative and understood the situation we're in, and we wish him well in Los Angeles.
All right. Steve, our next question comes from Rick. Rick wants to know, he's happy that you're well. Steve was in an accident last year and is doing tremendous. Yeah, it's great to see that.
Thank you.
He also wants to know, how do you focus when you stand between two fields? I guess he means down in Clearwater, or maybe it's from AA to AAA. How do you focus on the players and the difference of the players?
Well, really, it's in our morning meetings. As we're putting clubs together, we're starting to talk about certain players. So you're picking out certain players, and you know where they're at while they're playing those games. So you kind of look at both sides. You know where those players are playing. So it gives you a little bit of
idea where to look. Then there's some great plays that happen, or somebody's really pitching well or swinging the bat well. But it's basically what we talk about in our morning meeting before we get started. It gives us that edge.
All right. Our next question comes from Michaela, and it's for Kurt. Kurt, if you can get the microphone. Michaela's got a very important question. Michaela wants to know, can we have male acrobats next year?
I'm not sure how to answer that.
Well, you can just say yes if you want, but...
We're all about doing what the fans want.
All right, we'll go back over to this table. Two more questions, Reuben. We'll put them together into one. The first part of this is, will Chase Utley retire as a Philly? And is Dominic Brown healthy for 2015?
I'll answer the second question first. Yes, Dominic is healthy. Clearly with the trade of Marlon Bird, we're going to slide, that's the plan right now, after having talked with Rhino about it, the plan right now is to get Dominic back to his natural place in right field again. What's important, I think, for Dominic, when people always kind of focus on what have you done for me lately, and that's clearly the world we live in now. But Dominic was one of the best prospects in all of baseball. He came to the big leagues, he came up and down. We kind of bounced him around a little bit, kind of did him a little bit of a disservice early in his career because we had a need at the major league level. We're trying to win during those periods of in 2011, etc. I think that what Dominic Brown is, we'll find out. But he does have the ability. We know that he has played well enough to be an all-star at the major league level, which is a tremendous feat. He has the ability to drive the ball and have success. I know that he's had success as a defensive outfielder in the early part of his career, particularly in the minor leagues. I think he'll feel more comfortable there. He does have things to work on. But Dominic Brown can be a force on our club. A lot of it depends on whether we can make the adjustments, the appropriate adjustments that need to be made to be a everyday major league player. It is not easy to do that. As many of us here know, I wasn't able to be an everyday major league player. We have one Hall of Famer, and obviously Ben Revere is now an everyday player. But it's not easy, and the consistency that's necessary to do that, it's tough to find. We're going to give Dominic Brown the opportunity to do that because he has the ability. It's whether or not he can put it together.
And the Chase Utley question about?
Yeah, as far as Chase is concerned, I'd like to think that he'd be a Philadelphia for life, a Philadelphia Philly for life, but that's not necessarily the case. Again, as Scott alluded to earlier, he is a 10-5 player, but again, much in the same way that we have to keep our eyes and ears open on Cole Hamels and other players, it's also important for us to keep our eyes and ears open on Chase Utley. Now, Chase, I know he doesn't want to go anywhere. That said, he may get to the point where, one, I have a club that may end up having enough interest in him for us to consider moving him, and two, Chase may have some interest in that club. That may never happen, but I think it behooves us, and I think it's important as a steward of the organization to consider that if we have to, and we are thinking more long-term, if we can improve our club long-term, we'll have to consider everything.
Reuben, thank you guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Guys, thank you very much. We appreciate everybody. Back over to you. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it very much.
Another round of applause for Tom McCarthy. All right, again, a lot of thanks for this event. The Phillies have been tremendous in all 8 of these that we've now had as an organization. Great job by the Iron Pigs, especially the community relations trio that Kurt recognized earlier. Before we go, we have the bacon count. And if any of you were at the ballpark a year ago when Charlie Manuel was out, which was a lot, many times, he loved this particular version of the Iron Pigs cap. So much so that when we have a bobblehead later on in the year for Charlie in his honor, he'll be wearing this bacon cap. So now, you guys as our guests tonight, Reuben, Rhino, Ben, Darin, Dave, you have the bacon cap. Yeah. Now remember National Pig Day this year. Our annual celebration will be on Saturday, March 7th. Mark it on your calendars. The season starts a week later. We're going on Saturday, March 7th. Come on out to Coca-Cola Park. Hopefully the weather will be better than what it's been the last couple of weeks. And then we want better weather, of course, as we open up exhibition game on April 7th. That's a Tuesday against the Reading White Phillies. And then Thursday, opening day at Coca-Cola Park against the Pawtucket Red Sox. One last go Iron Pigs, everybody.